Hello and thank you for watching my video. This is another in the series looking at PvP builds in Guild Wars 2, and this comes after the June patch, which means all the traits are updated and some of the new skills have been brought in. So we're starting off with Thief, and I wanted to talk about Thief because this is my Condi Thief. I always played a Condi Thief in PvP. It's not always been that viable, but I wanted to show you this setup because I'm finding it extremely useful. Now, as you can see here, we've got a number of different weapons that we can use. The secondary weapon is pretty irrelevant, really. You can use whatever you want. So for example, dagger pistol is very good for mobility. That's what I use. The Heartseeker, very good, but it's this pistol dagger combo with Sigil of Torment and also the Sigil of Corruption that is extremely useful indeed. Now, the whole point of this build is to inflict conditions. Now, conditions at the moment are extremely powerful, and having Sigil of Corruption gives you plus 10 condition damage for every kill you get. You get plus 5, then you're really doing a lot more damage. Again, you can play around with what you want on the other weapon system, whether you want conditions or not. I barely use them. I don't swap over much. So we have Sigil of Earth, adding bleeding the chance. We have Sigil of the Crate, and this is extremely useful for the elite skill, because when you use your elite skill, you inflict bleeding, torment, and poison. And we're going to come on to this later, because using Venom Share, we can actually spread that around. Carrying Amulet, power, vitality, and condition damage. So Condi is the big one here. You can see how much Condi damage we're getting. We do get some critical damage as well, but again, we're mainly doing a big burst of condition damage. So let's talk about the traits. We get the Shadow Arts, we have Trickery, and we have the Deadly Arts. So we have Merciful Ambush, so we actually stealth ourselves when we revive an ally, so we revive quicker as well, so that's handy. We actually remove conditions while we're in stealth. Again, we've got Shadow Refuge, so while we're in stealth, we're actually removing conditions. Every 3 seconds we remove a condition, so it's good for evasion. Stealth skills last longer, so we've got that extra bit of stealth. With Shadow Refuge, so it ticks every 4 seconds. You've got every 4 seconds of stealth. Leeching Venoms. So gain might when activating a weapon, and siphon from your foe when triggering a venom. So you've got all these venoms here, they all life siphon, and this is really useful. Stealth effects that you apply reduce incoming damage, so if you are in Shadow Refuge, you do reduce the damage taken to you by 25%, not given to you. And Venomous Aura, so when you use a Venom skill, you actually apply the effects to all of your allies. And that is the main point of this build. We are going to be giving our allies some very crucial condition damage, siphons and venoms, and particularly the Basilisk Venom and also the healing Venom. So we could have a couple more instead of Shadow Refuge, but I like having Shadow Refuge to give you that bit of extra control and mobility around the map. So we move on to Trickery. We actually have Stealing gives you initiative, and this is where Stealing comes into a lot. We actually have Scatter Caltraps, so when you dodge like that, you actually leave behind some Caltraps, and that causes bleeding and cripple. We actually get an increase in initiative by 3. We actually get Vigor and rip boons from our target, and actually grant might to our allies when you steal. You increase damage, more initiative you have full. And Stealing also applies Confusion. So Stealing doing a lot of damage here, but we come on to the Deadly Arts, and I wanted to show you how much damage you can do from Stealing. So Stealing inflicts poison, and while in the down state, you actually apply poison, which again is really useful. You deal damage and gain life when Stealing, although you can't critical hit them. Weaken targets that you actually poison as well. So Stealing inflicts poison, you can also inflict weakness as well. Striking a foe below 50% immobilizes them. Really useful, again, for stopping enemies escaping. And, that's Panic Strike. We have Exposed Weakness, so deal more damage if your target has a condition, and deal extra damage while your target is below that threshold of 50%, sorry. But look at that, for Stealing, we actually do damage, we steal 2 boons, we heal, we poison, we get Vigor, and we get Confusion, and we increase our initiative, just from one skill. And this, combined with all the Venoms, really can do a hell of a lot of damage. You can take out almost 50% health in one go. So what we're going to do here, we're going to show you what it's like with all the Venoms here. So you can see we've actually got extra strikes of Venom. and we're going to do the skill 5, skill 1, so cloak and dagger, and then look at that. We've inflicted like 7 conditions on your opponent there, and he's bleeding out. Look at the amount, the ticks we're actually getting for bleeds. I've actually stopped attacking, and he's really taking a hell of a lot of damage. You can see in the combat log how much damage that we're actually doing there. Torment, poison, bleeding. These are all conditions that we're doing that's really going to melt your enemy. And again, if you do them coming out of stealth as well, if you hit your Venoms and get the pistol shot off, then you're and stealing as well if you want, then your enemy will not have a clue what's happening to them, because they've suddenly lost health. They've got confusion on them, and all these different conditions. They really struggle initially to sort of combat what your initial burst. So this sort of Condi burst, it's been actually pretty useful, and for me, the Condi share, Venom share was an actual viable build sort of in PvP before the changes, but now, because obviously condition damage actually, the Venoms actually scale to your condition damage, I'm sharing them to Guardians, to Warriors, to Elementalists. They get a hit off, bang, they are inflicting heavy condition damage based on my stats, not theirs. And that's where this is really, really effective. So I wanted to show you, again, I'm actually playing this one-handed because I wanted to show you just what the skills I'm clicking on. So we actually get all the Venoms up, and what we're going to do, we're going to do skill 5 and steal. So here we go, we've gone in, and then we'll use that pistol. We'll use 3 to move backwards, inflicting torment. He actually does catch us. I wasn't really paying attention. We stealth again, we'll get more bleeds off. Again, bleeds really, really high damage we're getting here. We move away, inflicting more torment. The chieftain's really getting down here. But one of the things I want to point out is when you do all these Venom shares, it just takes 2 of you to actually take out the beast in a really, really long time, really short time. So if you actually share your Venoms with a Guardian, for example, or a Ranger, you can both of you do significant condition damage and really melt down these bosses. So this is where this build I've found is extremely viable. It's actually been one of the better, experience of me from playing Thief. Again, I'm not the best Thief player, okay? I'll hold my hands up. I am one of the worst Thief players. Even though I've got, over 200 ranked wins on Thief, I'm actually enjoying Thief at the moment. I don't play Thief, I suppose, how it's supposed to. I don't like all the dancing around that you get with, particularly if you're sword main hand, or even going into stealth using using the pistol 5 skill to create a black smoke field, and then stealthing into that. I actually just enjoy going around, and again, this is more condition damage. It's something different. This is sort of the setup we've got, so it is pretty even here. And I wanted to show you me playing in action. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There will be some bits where I just mess up, because obviously I'm still getting used to this. I'm actually not using the keybinds, which I actually talked about in a previous video. So as you can see here, my allies have all got the Venom snares. Okay, so you can see now we're actually in Temple. We actually do have some keybinds going up here. We've got all these snares going on, but this is where you want to be wary, because obviously stillness is going to be up. So I wanted to jump in, inflict a load of conditions, and then get out of there, allowing my colleague to try and keep hold of that point as the warriors popped his stances to stop himself suffering. I've actually gone into stealth, used my shadow refuge. I'm just going to hide away from this engineer. He's a very heavy condition damage grenade engineer. So you can see here we're going to pop our Venoms. We're going to wait for him to go on to try and get the stillness, because he doesn't know I'm there. And then we're going to go, and I should have gone in with skill 1, I went in with skill 2. But you can see the amount of conditions that we've actually already applied on him. I wanted to immobilize him, and he's really suffering. He popped his heal skill, he's got his shield up, he's really struggling to survive, and he eventually gets downed. Unfortunately, I've actually got a lot of conditions on myself as well, a lot of heavy bleeds, and so I go down, but we've got my colleague there who's going to res me up. And a couple of his colleagues are resing him up. But because my colleagues are here, I actually can Venom share. And so all these conditions spread to all of the enemies. You can see we managed to get 2 of the players down. And there's a 3rd coming in. And we hit them with Basilisk Venom. So he's really struggling. Got all those conditions suddenly spiking him. And he's down. So really a lot of condition damage that we had on him there. And that's the whole point of this build. The fact that you can pop a load of conditions onto the enemy pretty quickly. And they don't know what they're doing. So you can see here, I've got the Venoms up. and we're going to go in, we use our stealing and skill 1, and he's already down, and he's really struggling, and bam. You can see all the condition damage I've done on the left-hand side, and that's him dead. Really quickly, didn't survive long. A condition spike build. And so that's what I wanted to show you. I'm having a lot of fun with this build in PvP. It may not be the strongest, but it's something that it's how I play, and it's not going to suit everybody. But feel free to leave any comments if you've got any suggestions. Obviously, this still is like work in progress stuff. I do really, only use the other weapon set to use it for mobility. I have occasionally played around with short bow. But if you've got any suggestions, I'm always, as I said, I don't consider myself to be the perfect player. But yeah, feel free to leave any comments. Subscribe to my channel, follow me on Twitter, and just generally, if you've want to comment, I will try and answer. I try and answer most people's comments on my channel. So thanks very much, and I will see you on the next video.